You're not ungrateful. You're awake. This is the Dignity Room, a place that's always yours. Come in.
Something has been shifting in you. A preference arrived that you didn't edit out. A thought formed that you let finish. And somewhere in that, a fear arrived too. Not the fear of staying in something that doesn't fit, something else. What if coming back to myself leads somewhere I'm not sure I can go? That's a different fear from the 2 a.m. loop of should I stay or go. It's the fear that becoming yourself again is the thing that changes everything. And today is for that fear. The fear of change is not irrational. It's the mind assessing scale and registering risk. But fear tends to distort that assessment. It makes the unknown enormous and the known safer than it actually is. That gap between the fear's version of the cost and the real one is what today is for. So think about what a different life would actually cost you to leave behind. Not in an abstract way. Be very specific. So, the kitchen you designed together, even if half of the cabinets drive you mad. The Sunday routine with your sister-in-law that took a decade to build and that you would genuinely miss. The mortgage rate you looked in 3 years ago that you would never get again. The version of your children's childhood that has a shape you both created together on purpose. That's not a small thing to put at risk. The fear that asks, what would it be without all of that, is a real reckoning with what you would actually be leaving. So there is a second layer too. The known life, however imperfect, is legible. You know its rhythms, which cabinet sticks, which Sunday is difficult, which argument is familiar enough to survive. The unknown life has no texture yet. That sounds appealing in the abstract and feels like standing at a cliff edge in practice. And for a woman who spent years being the capable one, the one who managed things, who knows everything, and knows how everything works, stepping into a life where nothing is managed yet isn't just frightening. It's identity threatening. Your competence has always had something to hold on to. In the unknown version, there's nothing yet to hold. And here is what I've noticed about this fear. It shows you two things at very different scales. The current life in full detail. The kitchen, Sundays, mortgage, blah. All of it vivid and specific. The alternative life shown as a blank. But the alternative isn't a void, it's an unknown. And those are different things. Every life you've ever had, including this one, was completely unknown before you lived in it. So, for example, the flat you moved into years ago had no texture until you'd actually slept there a few times. Or the job you were terrified to start became the one you can now do with your eyes closed. The unknown doesn't stay unknown. It becomes known the way everything does, by being lived in. The fear also assumes total simultaneous loss. Everything's gone all at once, permanently. That's almost never how change actually goes. Some things get lost, of course. Some things get distributed. And some things, surprisingly, stay intact. And yeah, some things you didn't expect turn out better than the version you were afraid to lose. And here's the third distortion, maybe the most important one. The fear compares a changed life to your current life on its best day. So the good evenings, the ease, the people you love in it. But the honest comparison isn't between a changed life and your best Tuesday. It's been a changed life and the actual Tuesday you've had lately, including the loneliness we named a few episodes back, the drift, the adapting, the self you've been finding your way back to. That comparison often looks different, not necessarily easier, just more honest. So, let's try something, and I invite you to try it. At some point soon, find a quiet hour and ask the real questions. Not would I lose everything? The specific version. Where would you actually live? What would the finance genuinely look like? What would you lose that you couldn't recover? And what might, after some time, actually be okay? You don't have to answer all of it today or at this specific day when you sit down. Just notice whether you've ever actually asked. Here's what tends to happen when we as women do this properly, with real numbers and real specific instead of the vague dread. One of two things. Either the real cost turns out to be genuinely significant, and that's important information, not a verdict, just something real to hold as you decide what you want. Or the real cost turns out considerably smaller than the fear suggested, and the fear gets noticeably quieter because fear thrives in vagueness and shrinks after a specific, honest light. Either way, you end up with information instead of catastrophe. And information is what makes a real choice possible. Not a fear-driven default, not the only option available, but something you actually choose with your eyes open. You've earned the right to make the choice. The fear, for all its noise, doesn't get to take it from you. So here are your 3 things to take with you today. 1. The fear makes sense. A fresh start would genuinely cost something real. So be really specific and not getting in like abstract fear-based decision making. Get clear and get specific. That fear is a real reckoning with real scale, not weakness. Take it seriously is the right starting point. 2. The fear's accounting is skewed. It shows the known life in vivid details and the unknown as a void. But the unknown isn't void. It's just not lived in yet. It assumes total simultaneous loss when loss is usually partial and survivable. And it compares your changed life to your best days now, not your actual days. And 3, sit with the real cost, specifically, rather than the catastrophized version. Either it's generally significant, real information, or it's smaller than feared and the fear gets quieter. Either way, information instead of catastrophe. That's what makes a real choice possible.
I didn't want to build a stage. I wanted a table, one we sit around together. That's dignity, queens, women like us, talking honestly, showing up for each other. It only works because real women bring their real voices. Yours would matter there. Come join us. The link's in the show notes. This was the Dignity Room.